All right, good evening and welcome to Futbol En Vivo on Club Deportes, show number 32. We are every Monday on clubdeportes.com. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at FutbolAustin. That's FUTBOL Austin. Follow Club Deportes at Club Deportes for all the latest and greatest sports news and commentary. Well, you got to check out Josh Wolf's favorite website to visit when he's serving a one-match suspension. That's clubdeportes.com. I am your host, Eric McCoy, and I am joined by a man campaigning to have Andrew Tarbell start Austin FC's first ever playoff match. It's David Alvarez.
Hey, really? Did I ever
Welcome
say that?
to the show, David. That's a pretty lonely campaign you're on right there.
Like a one-man show.
A one-man show,
I think Stuver is doing a pretty good job.
Okay.
Change your tune.
Changing
All
your tune this week.
That's fine.
He did a fine job, I have to say.
Okay,
All right.
credit where it's due. I am also joined by a man who has spent the last 24 hours bemoaning the standard of MLS refereeing. It's Jorge Chavez.
And I'm not the only one. It's been the whole Austin FC community has joined in with that campaign.
That's
I'm not
really
part of
a
that
great
community.
way to unify a fan base,
yes,
isn't it?
piss them all off.
Yes. Bad refereeing.
Yes.
Nothing will unify a fan base quicker than bad refereeing.
Yes.
Well, guys, we got a lot to get to this
Yeah.
week. We shouldn't waste any time. I know Jerry's going to be queuing up the highlights. Austin FC, in their final match, a 1-1 draw with the Colorado Rapids. And, of course, the story was some questionable, shall we say, refereeing decisions.
Several.
It's something that you have to deal with it. You have to play
just
with
gotta
it.
deal with it, right? Gotta
Deal with it. Because it's going to happen. It's better to happen now than later.
That is true. You would rather that standard of refereeing.
And this happened. It cannot happen. You cannot such weak shot. Oh my God, that was embarrassing.
I feel like
how can you kick the ball so weakly?
I feel like we've seen that before from Alex Ring.
Oh my God! Not only him. It's not only him.
It also looked like he wrong-footed it.
Like that was Stuver's great save. I was telling you
that was a good save.
That was an awesome save.
There was a lot of traffic in there in the box, and
the ball was like
he saw it. Yeah,
was perfect.
Trying to get back in the good
But this was a
graces of
beautiful
our-
goal. It was a beautiful goal. They don't. Who's complaining? Nobody. Did you see anybody complaining in the Colorado?
Well, get used to this, the offside.
But that one was obvious.
Hey, like
I really don't have a problem with that one.
Look at
I really don't have a problem with that one.
Did you see any Colorado players say anything about?
I'm with you, Jorge. I
Mostly
think
because they
was-
didn't really see anything to complain about.
Because nothing to complain about it. It was a goal.
I think it was offsides.
I think it was offside. That one, nothing really of consequence.
You can make an argument about it, but it is. Who's gonna call that? Only the VAR.
Yeah, this is
Only
where
the VAR is gonna
this is
call
where
that
Luca Barrios and what's his name, Jazzy
Zardes.
when they entered the game. I didn't really expect him to come in.
But this is another. I believe it's another weak shot. But it was worse from. Oh my God! He totally missed a goal.
No, well, he didn't miss the goal.
Urruti, Urruti tried to hit the ball.
He didn't miss the goal. He did not see that Driussi was open. That's the problem. That's a foul.
No.
And that's the foul that was called.
That's a gift. That was a gift. That was Christmas present from Colorado to look at. Why are you gonna give the ball back like that? It's like we do it.
That was a penalty, though. To be clear, right?
Yeah,
but it was like it was stupid.
It's a stupid challenge.
It's a gift.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was an obvious.
No, but before Urruti, he should have kicked the ball to the opposite side of the goalie. It was a bad kick by him. That's what I'm saying.
No, yeah, the previous one, yeah, but there were a lot of opportunities.
And that was like right in the middle, like that. Driussi scored, put it in, but it was right in the middle. Like that was pretty risky, but he put it in. But
yeah,
21. He could have had 23 goals, right?
He could have had 2 or 3. He could have had 2 or 3. And then there's this one.
23 goals, would have tied him with Mukhtar.
But that one was a beautiful goal too.
That was a beautiful goal.
What was wrong with it? I don't see anything wrong with it.
It was all called outside,
well,
and that's the problem with it.
We never saw an angle that really showed.
We never saw an angle.
No, there is an angle that you can see there's no offside. Like, look at look at you can. No,
Oh,
well, you can see there's nothing there. There's
Jerry,
nothing there.
I believe you told us you do have like an angle on this Fagundes offside call. Is that correct? Okay, can we see that?
We'll get to that one.
Yeah, because obviously in that one.
Okay. This is not high definition, I don't believe.
Not high definition.
Not high definition, but you can see it that it's not offside. Besides, Fagundes got hurt, and it's like you cannot.
I think for this call, if the referee would have not called it offside, it would have been irrefutable as well. It's one of those 50-50s that they didn't want to overturn whatever the referee called.
But it was a linesman.
It was just a bad call. Yeah, it was just a bad call. And,
that's the thing. I understand what happened, and you have to deal with it. Like, he's going to raise. Okay.
Yeah.
It took him forever to raise the flag then.
That's kind of standard now. You have to let the play go through, so you can't have VAR.
But we're still not letting it. I didn't see him.
Yeah, I didn't see him raising the hand. I really didn't see an offside. So it could be the homer in me. It could be the homer in me speaking, but I did not see it. I saw it 50-50. They were aligned with each other. Now again, because the lineman, because VAR does not want to overrule a lineman's call. Normally, they want to just make sure that the call was correct.
Overruled,
and it was not overruled. They just confirmed it, and that's a problem.
I mean, it's frustrating because we don't even get an angle where he even looks, maybe possibly offside.
Right.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, no, we did not. And then this again, there's Stuver again, like he usually is, stopping shots, but to be honest, Colorado didn't attack
look at that
much.
Look at that one. Who was there? Gabrielson let Rubio score an easy goal. But two headers on the area. Two headers on the area is a goal, right?
Yeah, but and I know you're going to disagree with me.
Yeah,
I think they were rattled by Driussi not being called that foul, so they were ill prepared.
Yeah, but look at. Gabrielson totally let Rubio dominate him on the air.
And Rubio's not the tallest of guys either.
Yeah, that's not a good look from Rubio.
And he climbed his shoulder.
And then Diego Rubio, why did
he
start fighting with Valencia there? I think, isn't it? No, who's Rubio fighting?
Yeah, Rubio got in Valencia. There was some heated moments.
Yeah,
some really heated moments.
It really was.
And I think Valencia was pretty much telling me that you didn't deserve that goal. I can completely think that's what's happening.
Hey, I don't disagree with you.
Be careful with those Rubios, man.
And
here it is.
Here's the shot. Here's what had set Twitter on fire. Abubakar clearly went over him, and now we're not talking about yellow cards, red cards, and all these other terms that have been flying around. He fouled him.
Yeah,
and they didn't even call that. They just let the play keep going. And that's what happened, that they were just so amazed that nothing was called that I think the rest of
they couldn't keep the cool.
They couldn't keep the cool. And to me, that's totally understandable.
Yeah.
Because,
I mean, it's good at the time before your playoff game, of course, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't want to have this.
David, what's your take on this right here?
I mean, that's a red card.
I agree. If you call it a foul,
that's a red card.
That is
the last man.
Because it's the last man.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's
the last man. That's a red card.
That's what they call a dog so denial of a goal scoring opportunity.
And now it's a little bit too far away from the box and the goalkeeper, so maybe it could be argued that it can't.
It's a red card.
If that wasn't the case, it's at least a yellow.
It's a free kick. It's a free kick and
a
yellow with orange tonalities like this.
Yeah, so it's a time wasting opportunity that was taken away because the play wasn't even stopped.
Yeah,
and that's what a lot of people have a problem with.
So I saw on Twitter today, Jorge,
yes.
you're a pretty popular guy today on Twitter.
I asked the question.
With a certain Andrew Wiebe, the host of MLS Extra Time. I'm a Wiebe fan. I like the show.
I like Wiebe. He's a great guy.
But he was wrong.
He was very wrong.
He
was very, very wrong. And Landon Cotham from Moon Tower Podcast made a very good argument where he showed he tweeted a clip of how Danny Pereira. All he did was do this against Real. Was it Real Salt Lake? I think it was.
I think it was. Yeah, the game at Salt Lake
against Bobby Wood, and Bobby Wood being the experienced player that he is, he fell to the floor like he had just been shot. And all he did, Pereira was tagged him. That's all he did. But that's all he needed to do to get that call. Man, you just I'm sorry, did I hurt you? No. But that's the point that a lot of people are trying to make, that it's not. Wiebe was arguing that Driussi was already falling.
Yeah.
And no, he was falling because that big guy shoved him. And it wasn't even shoulder to shoulder.
No.
It was back shoulder to shoulder.
Abubakar could have read the number on Driussi's jersey.
Yeah.
On the back of the jersey.
And so that was the argument that was happening on Twitter, trying to convince him that it wasn't necessarily that it was a red card or even a yellow card, but just a foul, just a run-of-the-mill foul, but not even to get that called. That's what everybody was complaining about. Because, again, we're in extra time. The players are frankly, I thought they were getting ready to celebrate because they thought it was over. Colorado wasn't really applying any pressure. And so I think the guys just kind of breathed a sigh of relief and let it go, unfortunately. And I think that's going to we talked to several of the players, Davey Arnaud as well. We could probably show it in a few minutes. But that pissed every single player off. We didn't see the highlight, but as soon as the final whistle was over, everybody was rushing towards the referees.
And Gabrielson in particular was really fired up.
That the coaches have sprinted.
We don't want any suspensions
full speed to stop their guys and just get them to the locker room because they were hot. They were livid.
So that's what you're talking when Gabrielson did not go up in that jump with the header.
That might explain why he was the most
He should have. That's because that's another thing that wasn't really discussed all that much. Rubio climbed Gabrielson's.
That did look like
he used his shoulder to get up on top of him. That's why he was able to get that shot. And it was call after call after call that Gabrielson was livid.
So what's going to happen? What's going to happen with the ref now?
Nothing. That's the problem.
I saw this on Twitter because we were at the game, Jorge. So I was listening to the broadcast, but this is from Capital City Soccer. Good account to follow on Twitter. Yeah. They actually quoted what Adrian Healy had to say on the broadcast. And I love this. This is really good.
Yeah.
This is from Healy. The last local broadcast of ever for Austin FC, Healy and Louis.
It's really sad.
Pretty sad. But here's what Healy had to say. He said, one of the worst officiating displays I've witnessed. He said, this has been atrocious. This referee shouldn't be handed another assignment this season.
Wow.
He should be made to watch a tape of this and reflect upon what he might have done differently. I love that from Healy. That's great.
And Healy's an experienced guy.
Yeah, he's seen a lot of MLS, a lot of soccer in general.
And not just in MLS, worldwide. He's been all over. So for him to say that, that's not being a homer. That's experience talking.
Oh yeah.
And so they were livid as well.
What do you guys think versus other leagues in the world? I want to ask this to you, Duffy. Is MLS, the standard of MLS refereeing, is it lower than what you see in other leagues throughout the world? Is that fair to say?
Yeah, because you can make the argument that it's kind of lower in some way, but at the same time, we adopted the VAR. Like many leagues have not adopted the VAR.
Yeah, MLS like one of the first.
So that's something like kind of you can say.
And you're a big VAR guy.
I'm a big VAR guy. So VAR is my second name. David VAR.
David VAR Alvarez.
No, but yeah, definitely. I think
Alvarez.
Alvarez.
Oh my God, 3 bars now. Wow, VAR. No, so that I mean. Yeah, in some way you can see like South American referees are more experienced with like critical situations like this one. You don't have. I mean, this guy would be probably. It would be hard to get out of the field in the first place.
Yeah,
for that referee to get out of the field.
You'd be in trouble in certain parts of the world to be refereeing like that.
Right. Yeah. Well, something should have happened, but that's the thing. Like. Sometimes the standards, are different here, than there, and in some leagues they let people hit themselves, get hurt more often.
Let
it go. Which is in here we do a lot. I mean, the MLS is a new thing, There's new things, but overall, I think our standard is pretty high. Our standard.
What do you think? Because of MLS referee.
Kind of following his thread. If the standard was pretty high, what happened in this situation? I mean,
I don't think it's particularly high. I really don't.
I mean, that's kind of the counterpoint that I don't think is very high. Compared to let's say England, the English Premier League, their VAR is a little more advanced in the sense that they take their time more.
I think we would have got to see some lines.
They have better camera angles. More because I mean, all their stuff is in 4K anyway. Because that's the most watched league in the world. So they have tons of cameras all over the place.
I wouldn't be surprised if the VAR referee was watching on the same quality video that we just showed on the show. It wouldn't surprise me at all.
It wouldn't surprise me at all. So, looking at that grainy thing that with the Fagundes goal in particular.
Yeah, I mean, you should have let him borrow your binoculars for it.
Yeah, I had the binoculars.
You should have let him use that.
And there's a pretty big screen in the stadium as well. Kept showing the replay over and over.
Oh my god!
So
maybe they should have a song.
So here's the thing. So for this game, not of necessarily
it wasn't important. It wasn't important
to Austin FC. The thing that I'm worried about, and it was Driussi that was fouled on that play or not fouled allegedly on that play. Right. That's what worries me is Driussi not being protected. MLS referees in general not protecting star players, especially as we head into the postseason. And that's a big concern, Josh. Wolf's spoken about it. We've spoken about it on this show. Is that something you guys are worried about heading into the playoffs? Driussi not being protected by the referees and getting abused, frankly, by opposition defenders?
Yeah, I mean, early in the game, it wasn't really shown all that much in the replays, but Driussi got fouled really hard, like in the 15th minute.
Yeah, got hit in the back of the head, neck area or something.
And he couldn't. He stayed on the ground
Took him a while to get up.
For a few minutes.
And why wasn't play stopped? That looked. It wasn't a head injury. It was very, very close to being one. I don't understand why play wasn't stopped there.
The referee didn't stop it. It was the Colorado Rapids players that, out of their kindness of their heart, kicked it out of offside as a sign of sportsmanship. Otherwise, they would have kept going. And that's just one example of really a pattern, probably since about the middle of the season, when defenders started to notice the quality of Driussi. Mm-hmm. They started hacking against him hard. There were several times where we saw Gabrielson, Cascante, and all those guys actually go up and defend Driussi after a foul.
Against LAFC, emphatically.
It happened a lot. And the reason it's happening is because Driussi, I don't think is as a well-known player as, say, a Carlos Vela or a Chicharito. If either one of those two guys were in the same situation as Abu Bakr, what do you think would have happened?
I think they get the call. I think they get the call.
Them, they would get a yellow card, they get the call. But Driussi, they probably don't even know his name, and that's the issue. And I want to read a quote from Driussi that our friend Michelle Sanchez. I'm sorry. Okay, sorry about that.
Love the passion, Jorge.
Yeah, Driussi made himself available for the first time as a player after the locker room, and he had some things to say. And one thing that he said this in Spanish, but Michelle had a good sense to translate it for us. And he says,
people like me.
And Michelle asked him what his thoughts were on the refereeing. She didn't say bad refereeing. She says on the refereeing. Mm-hmm. And this is what he said. It's something that makes you angry. Because if it happens to us in a definitive match or in the playoffs, what can happen next? It's something to look at very deeply because what the referee did here today cannot happen again. And
love it.
Yes. And
because
that's like a teacher,
like we just talked about. This game was of no consequence. It didn't affect either Colorado or Austin FC. They're still second place. Colorado's still out of the playoffs. A win would have gotten Austin FC or the record for the most points difference for one season to the next.
Yeah.
But because of it's because it was a draw, they just ended up tying the record. Nobody probably even knows about that record. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
but that's the point. Now the games do matter from now on. Mm-hmm. So, what is pro soccer refereeing going to do about protecting guys like Driussi? We're not worried about protecting guys like Vela or Higuain or those guys. Those guys are going to be protected. But for guys that are in RSL, guys that are in Austin FC, guys that are in Orlando, that are not as well known, how are they going to be protected when a similar situation happens? So they need to look at it.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point, Jorge. Okay, so here's a question I have for you guys about this. And the final thing on refereeing, then we'll move on to other stuff.
Yeah.
Should Austin FC use these controversial calls, non-calls, as motivation going forward?
They're already doing it. So it's not a question. It's not a question of our opinion. It's fact. They are already using it.
Yes.
Gabrielson had commented about that. Stuver commented about that. We saw what Driussi said about it. Coach Wolf said that every single one of them. Davy Arnaud, who was the interim coach.
The mild-mannered Davy Arnaud.
He said the same thing, that they're going to use this out of motivation. So, yeah, it's already happening.
David, what do you think? Should they be using this as motivation? Like the bad refereeing decisions that they suffered?
As a motivation?
As motivation.
Reverse discrimination, probably? I don't know. I mean, how are you going to take it? Because, I mean, it shouldn't be. From my point of view, I think we shouldn't even be talking too much about it right now, because I say it that.
This is what the people are talking about today. Yeah. We gotta talk about it. We gotta give the people.
I know it's important to talk about it, but not to extend it, because I said earlier, like, when you are in the playoff, you need to think that you will have this type of stuff happening
type
to you.
Of calls, and
you will have to play against at least one couple of referees. You have to play against them too. So that's how you have to prepare. I mean, I'm glad this happened, and it's a reminder that this stuff will happen again.
Yeah,
there's no question about that will happen again. But the question is, how do we react it? How we will react in the future? Because I didn't think the fact that they weren't able to defend the last goal by Rubio because of that, I think that's a bad
despite
precedent.
The fact he was fouled?
It's a bad precedent. No, I mean, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that it was still 5 shots on goal. Over 4 shots on goal.
Yeah, we're getting
stat
to
man.
Right.
Okay, we're going to get to the stats, but I'm going to tell you what, David. I actually agree with you on this. I don't think Austin FC. I think Austin FC need to forget about this as quickly as they can.
Yeah,
I think it's dangerous to go into a playoff match thinking the referees are out to get you, and that. That's one other thing to worry about.
I will add something to my comment though. It depends how they're going to use this. Mm-hmm. Are they going to go out and not leave any calls in the hands of the referee and clearly make goal opportunities for themselves and take the referee calls out of the... play more precise. I think that's what they may end up trying to do is to leave any calls out of the referee's hands. If it's a goal, it's going to be a clear goal. If it's a header, it's going to be a clear header. If it's a foul, they're just going to brush it off because they know that from experience, they haven't been able to get some of these calls, which is interesting because it was a home match.
Yeah.
Now, I would understand these calls if it was in RSL. And, if it was in Colorado. It tends to happen when referees do these sorts of calls for home teams. But against...
As someone who's
that's
watched...
something you can argue about that. So much history. Like in the Italian leagues, you have the history of like...
Calciopoli, yeah.
Yeah, only played the young referees because they're the easiest.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't think anything that complex is going on. And
you can go on and on with that. But the main thing is like what happened during the game. What did the players going to do in the similar situation? Are they going to lose their head in the middle of the playoffs?
That's what I would be worried about.
That's the main thing.
I don't want the players going into the game thinking the refs are out to get us. And a bad call happens and they lose.
Let's not worry about it.
Especially if a bad call happens at the start of the game.
Exactly.
If something even remotely similar happens like that, I think Austin's they're gonna be unraveled.
And that's dangerous.
They're gonna unravel themselves.
Forget about this.
We need to keep the cool. We need to keep the cool. The people need to keep the cool and move on and move more from what happened with Colorado. I think we need to concentrate what happened during the game.
Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about the performance itself. Was this performance good enough for you, David?
Good enough for me?
Yeah. Were you pleased with this performance?
I think it's a step in the right direction. I think it was a step in the right direction, especially for Stuver. I think I was very impressed. Stuver, again, for me, was the man of the match. Make great saves, in the ball. I mean, great reflex. So for me, it was really good. What I would learn, too, is we had 3 or 4 shots, one by Fagundes, another one by... 3 weak shots, very, very weak shots.
Urruti's weak shot. Ring's weak shot.
3 or 4. And the other one was the clear one was Lima, because it was a rebound at the end. And Lima, instead of hitting the ball with the left, he decided to cut it and then pass it again to the right for Martins, that also had a weak shot. Another weak shot. So it's like, come on, guys, Masitas. No more Masitas, man. If you're going to be in the playoff, you
want to be clinical in front of goal.
Not only clinical, but just hit the ball hard as you can. Don't be like Cristiano Ronaldo in Manchester United, remember? He had the clear chance.
He had a lot of clear shots.
Little Masita.
And he just didn't
701 goals. We need it.
Yeah.
So I'm with you overall, David. I think the big thing for me in this match was this team needed to look more defensively sound. Yes. And I know they were outshot quite badly in this match, 17-9 by Colorado. But if you look at those numbers a little closer, 8 of Colorado's 17 shots came from outside the box. So
they were just hopeful balls.
Exactly. I don't actually think they tested Stuver all that much in this match. And really, so I think overall this team looked a lot more comfortable defending counterattacks, which was the main thing for me. And I think they created enough chances. Probably should have had 2 goals because Fagundes looked onside. So, and so I think overall this was a fine performance. I want to get into some details with you here, though, Jorge.
Yeah.
So this was basically Austin FC's more or less first choice starting 11 with 2 notable exceptions.
Yeah.
We saw Musa Jite in place of Maxi Urruti up top, and then we saw Johan Valencia in place of Danny Pereira in midfield.
Yes.
Should we read anything into these 2 guys getting a shot? Was this an audition, perhaps, for this Sunday against RSL?
I asked Davey or not that question specifically. Mm-hmm. Did the center backs play better because they knew that they had Valencia they
that was a very good question
and are not acknowledged that Valencia's strength is defense and Pereira's strength is offense. He diplomatically said they're going to need both guys, but clearly, Cascante and Gabrielson played much better with Valencia there as central midfielder because they know that he could cover their butts.
Yes.
And they played more confidently. Cascante in particular played very well.
Really good in this match.
I think Gabrielson, he had been injured, so kind of give him a pass. He still played well.
Yeah.
And I still think he got fouled in that Rubio play. But
no, he just beat him. He beat him.
Well, he beat him because he was over his shoulder.
No, he's just stronger.
No,
God, it was clearly.
But
I think it was more of a foul than not a foul.
It's Chilean, man.
Not
it's a Chilean. The Chilean is going to win.
It's Chilean. But I think it wasn't ideal from Gabrielson.
But because Valencia was there, I think the defense played much better. That opened up Lima and interesting, it was with Finley that started as well. Mm-hmm. I mean, not Finley, Gallagher. Mm-hmm. So they played better with more confidence to go up front.
Yes.
So that basically gave them a 3-man defensive line in the back with Valencia there. Mm-hmm. So they played much better knowing that they had that guy there.
Yeah, I do think the fullbacks, they did both get forward in this match, but not quite to the kamikaze degree they were getting forward against Vancouver. I think they played well. They
pretty
were
much
smart.
Spade,
Yeah, I think they were very smart. But, okay, Valencia, though, does he start for you in the playoffs against RSL? Okay.
Yes.
Do you think he will start?
Yes. So he better start because, again.
I think he should start, but I don't think he's going to. I think Wolf is going to stick with
Pereira.
David, weigh in. weigh in here. Should Valencia start the playoffs ahead of Danny Pereira?
Well, it's the same thing I said before. I mean, as long as Pereira don't do more masitas like he usually does too, because he's very famous for that. Yeah, I mean, depends of what. I mean, either way, I think would be good. I mean, because I think we need more experience, you know. And
well,
at this
Valencia
level,
has he's won the Colombian league with Deportivo Cali.
Yeah, and that's what
I'm saying. Yeah. We need more experience in terms of he not only that, but he played Copa Libertadores.
So you're a pro Valencia.
Yeah, in this case, okay. I will go for Valencia because of the experience of playing
Futbol En Vivo.
Playing at that level.
I mean, I think it's obviously going to be more of a situational thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. RSL does not have the fastest attackers in the world, so they may not need Valencia as much as they would need Pereira for his offensive prowess. It's really gonna depend on the coaching staff and what they see that RSL provides.
Well, here's the thing I'll say about RSL. So I was actually doing some numbers on it, on RSL, just looking up some numbers on them. Wow. This is this will surprise you, David. I was spending my Sunday evening looking up numbers on RSL. That's a wonderful life I lead. But if you actually look at them, they have the most long passes attempted in all of MLS. And the third most crosses, another basically what you find when you look at the numbers on this is a team that plays very direct. They like to sit deep. They are one of the lowest possession teams in all of MLS, and whenever they do get the ball, they hit it long. Right. And for me, we saw how comfortable he looked in front of those center backs, kind of snuffing out those counterattacks. There was one moment, I pointed it out in the press box, where it was basically, a tactical foul as Colorado was trying to break forward on the break. Yeah. Valencia commits the foul, gets called for the foul, but he avoided getting the booking. Right. Now, that may have been because his referee was an idiot.
More than likely.
Yeah, that actually may have been it. Should have been a yellow, but he was smart enough to kind of make it not look so obvious
egregious
where he actually got the yellow. So... Yeah, for me, against a direct team like RSL, I would prefer the guy who's better at stopping counterattacks starting over the guy who isn't. And I think that is Valencia.
Yeah, I mean, because they have Bobby Woods at forward. And RSL also has Diego Luna. But he's not – Diego Luna is really not known for his speed. He's not a speedster. Mm-hmm. He's very good at his feet on 1v1, getting guys out of the way. But he's not the type of guy that receives those long balls. That's Bobby Woods.
Yeah, he kind of plays underneath the two strikers.
Yeah, right. The midfielder, I guess, if you will. Sort of the Driussi role, if you will. Mm-hmm. But because of that, I mean, like I said, it's going to depend on what the coaching staff sees that RSL does, especially recently, how they've played recently.
Well, I think the game with I believe was. Real Salt Lake just beat
Portland.
Yeah. That is
3-0.
3-1.
But the last one was kind of, the Portland goal was at the end. But so I was looking at that, and that's exactly the type of team that we're playing. Like, that game is the one that we need to watch, right?
Yeah.
Because they beat the team that beat us in our own law, right? So pretty much... I think it's a good example because they were able to play around the ball. I mean, they had the ball and they moved the ball around the entire circle to score one of those goals. So, and they have like 12 touches.
Yeah.
I mean, that was pretty nice. I mean, they very impressive. So some of the touches, I mean, they know each other, obviously. But they only have won 3 games lately. But they put him on the playoff.
And Austin has only won 1 of the last 7.
And speaking about poor form. Okay, the other part of that question, Jorge, was the striker situation.
Right.
Gite starting over Urruti. And Urruti only scored twice since July 12th. Both of those goals came against LAFC.
Yeah.
I still personally think it will be Urruti that starts. I think the defensive work he does, the pressing, is too important to this team.
Right.
But I was really hoping Gite would have banged in a couple of goals and maybe have gotten the nod. I actually thought Gite played really well in this game.
He did.
His movement was really good. Well. His positioning was really good. He looked really more comfortable I think he's ever looked in this team. But yeah, he didn't get the goal. So I think he's still got to go with Rudy.
Yeah, I agree. I think we go like David alluded to earlier, experience over youth. And Urruti's got a lot of experience in these playoff games.
That's another very good point.
So not that Musa is going to get rattled by any.
But also, one thing to keep in mind though, Gite last time out against RSL did score 3 goals.
Why mess with a formula? let Urruti and the guys tire the defense up, and then bring Urruti in there. I mean,
either way in there. But either way, I mean, we need to make sure that we stick with the plan.
I do think that's a good point. Let Urruti run them ragged for the first 60, 65 minutes. If you're still needing that goal, say it's a 0-0, then 65th minute, in comes Gite.
And same with Finley, because he knows exactly where to place the ball. But he's not the fastest of wingers either. But at the same time, you bring in Gite, you bring in Rigoni. And have some speed up in the middle and on the right side. I know people have been a little down on Rigoni because he hasn't shown his deep
I think this performance that we just saw against Colorado was as bad as he's looked.
He
had a cross that we were laughing.
Yeah,
actually laughing in the press box.
So where was that going?
Where exactly was that intended to go?
Where was that going?
David, what are your Rigoni thoughts? You look like a guy that's got a few thoughts on Rigoni.
I think it's a good sub for the second half.
A sub. There's no chance he's starting this game.
He hasn't shown in the field that he can do it. So, but as a sub, I'm sure he can show it during practice. During practice, I think Verde is marvelous too. So
apparently,
a lot of people can be very good,
renowned.
Right, but
he's great in practice.
It's something like in the field and during the games, on Sundays, mostly Sundays, it's not showing it. So, but something might happen, during the middle of the week, and then he can get better with the bodies there. But it's hard, it's hard to position him there. But regarding him. I mean, regarding the other ones. So
I think we're all on the same page. You're definitely Urruti over Gite starting against RSL. Okay.
Yeah, same thing. I mean, I think Urruti, Gite, and it's also a sub.
Yes. Okay, so we're in agreement there. Okay, now let's before we get to predictions, we got some very special predictions that we're going to get to at the end of the show.
Yeah.
We've actually filled out our brackets, March Madness style here.
Yeah.
Before we get to that, I got a couple of just kind of season review questions for you guys. Okay. I want to get nostalgic here. I want to look back on the regular season.
Go through the files.
It's like New Year's.
Inspired by Jorge Chavez in the press box yesterday. Was asking everyone their favorite games, least favorite games.
Yeah.
It was fun. Thank you to the boss for the idea for this little segment here. Let's start with you, Jorge.
Okay.
Your favorite moment of this regular season?
LAFC. The win against LAFC.
Okay.
Sadly, that's the last happy moment, but
RSL.
Because it was a happy moment.
The Gite hat trick and kind of finding out everything that he's been through off the pitch. And I think that was the first time a lot of people, myself included, were made aware of all of the things that have been going on in his life. And so to see him have that moment after really kind of struggling quite a bit, and that was special.
Throughout his time here,
that was a great moment. He was able to speak in French, had a French translator, and then the post-match press conference. It was just a wonderful, really good. Wonderful moment. David, you. We're talking positive feelings right now.
The positive thing, definitely.
I know it's not your forte, positivity.
Positive thing, definitely that was very beautiful because also I was with the supporters section. I believe I was in the supporters section that time, and I really enjoyed those 3 goals from with a lot of. It was just gorgeous to be there, with the people, and it's just so close to. But also. Behind, Austin FC, LA at the game,
I think those.
What you gonna say? What you gonna say about that game? You're playing against the best.
Yeah.
And the best of the best, probably the likely champion this year, but you're beating them at home. That was. How can you pay that? It's the best game.
Yeah,
likely champion. I think you just tipped your bracket, man.
Oh, we're about to keep these under wraps, David. You're surprised. Okay, well, we know who David has.
Well, we know. Okay, we know who's gonna. Okay.
Okay, now let's keep
yours. Your turn.
My moment was the Gite hat trick.
Oh, the Gite.
No. Gite hat trick to clinch the playoff.
Both of them too. No, I'm.
Is that yours as well? Is that what you're
No. The chicken in the substance.
Sorry. Okay.
Gotcha.
Let's keep the positive vibes going here.
Alrighty.
We'll start this one with you, David. Which player was the most pleasant surprise to you this season?
Well, the pleasant surprise, really. I mean, it has to be Driussi. I mean,
Driussi. Okay.
Yeah.
You're surprised by how well Driussi
played. Surprised, at the level that Driussi shows.
I guess that's fair. I mean,
that's the level.
I think we knew he was going to be good, but this.
I never expected that he was going to be that good of a player. And I mean, he just showed it. It's just like in every game, 22 goals. I don't know how many assists did he had. I mean, he making huge 5 assists. But the impact that he had on the team, it just you cannot pay for that. It's just like, what are you gonna do? Sebastian Driussi is the man on the.
Pretty obvious pick, but still good nonetheless. Jorge,
I'm gonna go a different direction. Ruben Gabrielson.
Okay, see that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, Ruben Gabrielson, because I compared
off the beaten path.
I compared what happened last year. Austin was not doing too badly up until the mid-season mark when Matt Beasler went down with a concussion and he didn't come back. He ended up retiring because of that. So they lost a lot of experience. Cascante struggled mightily back there with Romagna. It was just a bad combination. But as soon as Gabrielson came in, he built up a lot of confidence in that back line. And I think plus his interviews. I mean,
he's great.
He's great. The media guys love him. He always has great things to say. He's not mean about it. He's funny. He's a very, very funny guy.
He'll call you out if you didn't like the question, though.
No, he'll call you out.
I asked him a question last night. I was a little concerned. I was like, how's he going to respond to this? But he was funny.
Bills has been called out as well for some of his comments. But he's very refreshing. He exudes confidence in the rest of the guys. So I think he's a little bit of an unsung hero. And I don't think he's even been named captain for any stretch of the games, if I'm not mistaken.
He definitely has future captain material, I think.
Absolutely. But he's several times he defended Driussi, as we've talked about earlier.
Yes, the enforcer.
Getting in defenders' faces. He's an enforcer. Mm-hmm. And you need a guy like that. And I think that helped instill confidence in the rest of the guys that no matter how far behind they fall, they can always come back. And that's something that Gabrielson has mentioned as well, that he does not want to, he quoted saying he does not want to hear Cascante not say he's the best center back in MLS. Same with the other guys at Romagna. And
really a true leader on this team.
He really is.
I think it's fair to say.
Yeah.
That's a good selection there, Jorge. I'm actually going to go with John Gallagher for my most pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
To go from winger to just incredible left back, I think that is really impressive. He's really made that position his own. So yeah, that's going to be my pick. Now, let's get negative here, you guys. Let's go. We've been too positive. It's been too rosy, misty, just too positive. Let's get
into the nitty-gritty.
Yeah, let's get the claws out. This is your forte, David. Most disappointing player this season. We're going to start with you.
Most disappointing.
Disappointed,
Jesus, because it cannot be.
This should be easy. It's right in your wheelhouse.
Well, it was Cecilio. Cecilio could not be disappointed because I expected it to be disappointed. So
yeah, that's a good.
Disappointing. I said that would be a disappointing, and it was disappointing. So
yeah. Can you be disappointed if you were expecting those results? It's a good existential question there, David.
I'm so glad not to see him anyway. So disappointed. Jesus. It's the people I've never seen properly. There's some of the players that we got and we never seen.
Freddie Gleeman, is that disappointed you the most?
No, but he's injured. I would have put him in that category.
Jesus, it's just I don't know who could disappoint me, but
I thought it was gonna be easy. Jorge, help David out.
Yeah. Janko Manic.
That's exactly who I wrote down.
Yeah, Janko Manic, because he played very well last year. Mm-hmm. And he's fast. He's a winger. He's been called up to his home's national team, Slovenia, and he just disappeared this season.
Yeah,
he only has a left.
Now that could be because John Gallagher absolutely made that position his own and made it very hard on the coaching staff to put Janko Manic. But Janko Manic, even when he played, he didn't really do all that much.
I remember that game against the Galaxy
in LA.
Yeah,
he disappeared.
It's just when you have those situations. I mean, you need to be able to play with both legs, so you can be more flexible
Right.
You can be more flexible than that.
Right. So I frankly don't expect him back. He's on loan, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not quite sure, but yeah,
but that's definitely one guy I don't expect back in Austin next year.
Yeah, it's crazy because whenever we early in the 2021 season, he was like the only bright spot. It was like, well, at least we got a left back that can cross.
Yeah, he can cross.
And we were like, he's not going to be here long because he'd be making a move over to Europe to go on a team over there.
Enjoying what we have on him or whatever.
Yeah, but man, it's really turned sour.
Yeah, it's been bad. Yeah.
Okay, so you've disappointed us, Dubby, but now coming up with an answer there other than Cecilio, which, But this next question, though, this next one.
Okay, yeah.
I know you've got an answer for this.
Okay.
On a scale of 1 to 10.
Yes.
Rate the coaching job of Josh Wolf in the 2022 regular season.
Jesus.
1 to 10. What do you got?
I got a 7.
A 7.
A little low.
Very nearly orchestrates the greatest turnaround in MLS history. 7 out of 10.
Because I need to judge him after Sunday.
I'm saying the regular season.
For regular season. I mean, the game is a game. I mean, the playoff, I give him a 9. I give him a 9 if he wins.
Well, I'm saying his performance in the regular season.
Right now, he needs to bring it up, man. I give him a 7.
I don't think you're understanding the question, David. It's the performance in the regular season, which is already concluded. And it was, tied for the greatest turnaround in MLS history?
25-point turnaround.
25-point turnaround.
Okay, fine. But it's still last year. He should have been fired.
The
2022
season.
Focus,
and you're talking about the playoffs. You're talking about 2021.
Whoa, pass me. I mean, I'm just giving him a 7. I mean, it's fine. It's not a big deal. Because,
7.
Okay.
Why I give him a 7? Why I give him a 7?
Why do you give him a 7?
Because... we have, after we made the playoff, we have how many games, cushion games that we have, and we've been talking about all those games, every single day for the last 2 months, and have we seen any improvement? Probably with the last game with the Colorado was the only time we saw a little bit of improvement, but before of that...
And he wasn't there.
That was Davey Arnaud.
That's a 7.
Okay, that's a good answer, David. Jorge, what do you got?
I give him an 8. I give him an 8 because he started off strong. He didn't change his tactics from last year. He just had better players that understood the tactics that he was trying to teach. Mm-hmm. So, I read several things out there. One thing that some of the people, some of the so-called experts have said that they admire about Austin FC is that they have not changed their formula from day one. It's constantly the same tactics, the same formations, the same idea.
I would 100% agree with this.
Game after game, be it they win 5-0, 5-1, or if they lose. It's the same tactic. And so when you have those tactics to rely on, you just have to make sure that you
execute.
That's what I was getting to, that you have your players mentally prepared to execute. Because they've had 34 games of experience doing the same thing over and over and over. They just have to kick it up a notch for the playoffs. And a lot of those guys do not have that much playoff experience. And that might be an issue. But I think, again, if we want to focus just on the regular season, very rarely did Austin FC really get blown out. It was the Galaxy
away, and Nashville away.
Other than that, they were pretty much in the game. Some of those that ended up being 3-1 or 3-0 or whatever. It was because they were trying to attack, and they left their defenses open, and it happens for games like that. But to be thoroughly outplayed, other than those 2 games, I think they were in every single game that they were in.
Yeah, I agree with that. Especially everything you said about just not deviating from the plan. And I think especially after how awful last season was, to go into this season and say, no, we're going to stick to the script, not throw the script out.
No.
Not throw one of our pals, Chris Bills.
Unfortunately, we don't want to do that.
I am kind of leaning with you where I think 8, I think is probably where I go as well. Just because, the end of the season a little alarming. I think this run here has me a little concerned.
I agree. Yeah.
But yeah, you can't ask for much more. 25-point turnaround. I mean,
second place in the West.
Second place in the West. You got to look at the big picture.
Yeah.
This has been remarkable. Okay. We got about 10 minutes left, so we're going to have our big predictions as far as MLS Cup playoffs are concerned. But just real quick, Austin FC versus RSL, just this match. Jorge, Q2, Sunday, 2 p.m. I cannot wait. ABC.
Yeah.
ABC is going to be there. Network
Deportes.
TV. You don't even need cable. You don't need Peacock.
It's going to be over the air.
No, Peacock TV.
Antenna and watch this.
No Hulu?
No Hulu.
None of that stuff.
It's on ABC.
On ABC.
So who do you like, Jorge?
Austin. I think they'll pull it off 2-0.
2-0. Okay, David.
Hey, it's Austin all the way.
Score.
3-1.
3-1.
Wow. I'm going to go Austin FC 1-0. Scrappy. It's
a scrappy game.
It's going to be an ugly game, but they're going to find a way. 1-0.
I think that's
going to be
fair. Probably.
It will be a 9 for
if he gets the win, okay. We'll get to that in due time. Jerry, let's get to our MLS Cup. Okay, I like that. Look at that, 50% for Austin FC win probability. Okay.
No, okay.
Well, I don't think it's going to be a draw.
Can't be a draw.
It could be a penalty. Hey, it could very important.
If it's a scrappy game.
And that's one for me as a coach. The penalty preparation is very important.
It is. As you come into the postseason, extremely important. Okay, let's start with Jorge. Let's start with Jorge's predictions. Okay. Can we do that, Jerry? Can we get Jorge's predictions up? So this is okay.
I do like that Galaxy upsetting LAFC.
I do like that.
I like that.
I like that a lot, actually, as you may see on my.
I
do like that.
Man, that's a true fan right there. True
Austin
fan.
FC winning it all.
Winning it all.
I have them winning
is
it
that
all.
your heart or your head making that prediction?
It was a quick prediction. But if I would have studied it more, I probably would not have picked Austin FC, to be honest. But
where do you think they would be most likely for them to slip up?
In the conference finals.
Yeah.
Because their next opponent is going to be either Nashville, Galaxy, and LAFC. And they've had success against LAFC, but they turned the corner, I think, a little bit, even though they slipped up against Nashville this last game. And they haven't been in the best of forms, but I'm really afraid of the Galaxy.
As well you should be. They beat us FC twice this season.
And Nashville, we also didn't beat them. We drew them here at home. So, again, those two are very, very dangerous teams. So,
and who is that? Who is...
Anything you want to elaborate on here before we move on, Jorge? Any predictions that you're most feel most emphatically about?
And the Eastern Conference, probably?
I'm high on Cincinnati. I think they're going to surprise some people.
They have a lot of talent.
They have a lot of talent. They have Brendan
Vasquez.
Vasquez there.
Acosta,
they have some good quality that I think they could sneak up on people. So I think I have them, like I said, at least going to the conference finals.
I think that's not a bad pick there. All right, we're gonna save David for last. You're gonna be the main event here. Your pick. So let's go ahead and show mine here, if you can, Jerry. We're gonna save the best for last.
You're a winner.
This is me right here.
Okay.
What do you guys think?
You have the Galaxy beating Austin. Okay.
I do. Yeah. And I tell you what, the FC Dallas scares me. FC Dallas.
That's another one that
Austin FC's never beaten. That worries me. I don't like that matchup, but I just think the Q2 crowd. I think it'll be.
Yeah, but I think that's a good. But if Dallas Austin happens, we're gonna have a lot of Dallas fans.
Yeah,
a lot of Dallas fans. I know a lot of those guys from my Barra 76 group, and they would be very pumped to play Austin FC.
Yeah, and I'll tell you about the Union. So I have them winning it all.
Last
season,
fair.
They had just an outstanding team, and in that conference final, they had an outbreak of COVID. They had like 9 players that couldn't play in the conference final against NYCFC. And I think that this team has been on a mission all season. Very nearly got the Supporters Shield. I just think they play really well. And Daniel Gazdag, 22 goals, 10 assists.
They have the most goals of the league, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I believe you're correct.
By a lot.
Yeah.
And do they have like a lot of kids coming?
Oh, yeah. Their youth development is...
Brendan Aronson came out of there.
His brother.
His
brother now
plays there. Several of the under 17 and under 20.
But one game I was watching,
the U.S. national team.
I don't know which one I had. I was watching some highlights on one of the games, and the 4 guys that scored, 3 of them were actually from the academy.
Yeah, they Ernst Tanner
very strong.
is their sporting director.
I was
He's got
wow.
connections to the Red Bull system. The guy knows how to develop talents, find talent. Yeah, really good stuff in Philly. Okay, the main event. David Alvarez. Let's see your MLS Cup playoff predictions.
I didn't have enough time, to decide. But
so this is about as obvious as it gets. You just pick the highest seed to win every game?
Yes.
Other than Cincinnati beating the Red Bulls, that is exactly what you did.
Yeah. He picked every one of the high seeds.
You picked Nashville over LA Galaxy.
Oh, yeah. Because
that'll be fun.
Mokhtar,
that's going to be a fun game.
Nashville has been pretty impressive,
They have played well. They have Hani Mukhtar.
Very well. And definitely they're gonna, if they're gonna play against LA, they're gonna have a great game too. So
why LAFC, David? They've been struggling a bit down the stretch. Gareth Bale not really working out for them.
I know, but I see Arango playing with such an ease over there and
that
top.
Is true.
How much do you think Bale is going to
even he missed a penalty this week. He tried to do a type of Rabon. I don't know what he tried to do.
What's going on in LA?
It's something horrible.
They're
but he tried to do something crazy. But he's so dangerous. LA is just dangerous, and then they're just consistently dangerous team. They have. If you don't have one, they have another one, and. For me, they're the best team so far, and Philadelphia, of course, is the better team.
I could probably see that. That would be a very entertaining game also.
From that side.
Union LAFC.
I picked there that I did not want to play against Dallas, right? That's why, because that's
right. You chose Minnesota.
You had a couple. We were a little harsh.
Yeah, I think there's some good.
That was the Minnesota.
Adrian Heath, you and him go way back.
We go way back. So I got to go. I have a lot of respect for Minnesota and for the coaching, of course. No matter what, I think they have a very weak team at the beginning of the year. They didn't have much of a stronger team. But we talk about it. And remember, I say something. You need to know Adrian Heath. He plays. If he didn't have the players, he will have the players. And he knows how to play. I'm a big fan for him. So,
all right. I could.
That would be something that we need to deal with. It would be hard to deal, but in the other side, I think just Montreal. It's gonna.
You're good, yeah. They are a very good team. Wilfred Nancy, outstanding coach there at Montreal,
and probably going to win MLS Coach of the Year.
That's what most people seem to be saying.
But it's not the turnaround that Austin FC had from last year.
Impressive, but not quite as impressive as Austin FC. Okay, so I think we're just about out of time here. Any final thoughts on the MLS 2022 regular season, Austin FC's regular season? And there's the Golden Boot winner, Hani Mukhtar.
Hani Mukhtar, Nashville. That's why I picked Nashville. Manny. He's
real quick. While Mukhtar is up there, MVP. Who wins?
Mukhtar 23, 22.
Yeah, there's a lot of variables.
Brenner and
Chicharito. What's he doing
18 goals.
But, anyways,
he should be playing for Mexico.
Yeah, but as far as the MVP race, Mukhtar's gonna win it
because he has more assists.
He's got more assists.
Yeah,
one more goal, and one thing that a lot of people try to argue of why Driussi really deserves it is because he's more important to the team's success than Mukhtar is. And Nashville would have been a playoff team with or without him. People argue that,
and also people used to argue about how many penalties somebody took in favor of the other one.
I don't exactly agree with that.
And I was actually looking at looking at some numbers on Sunday night. That's what I like to do on my Sunday nights. Hani Mukhtar, this guy is receiving over 10 progressive passes per match for Nashville. That's basically the only way they get the ball up the field is just passing it to Hani Mukhtar.
Yeah.
So I actually really disagree with people that say that Mukhtar is not as important to Nashville as Driussi is to Austin. I vehemently would disagree with that. I think Driussi is very important. I think if you're going to make a case for Driussi, I think it's the defensive work. I think and that's what Davey
Arnaud very underrated. It is very underrated.
Last night in the press conference was just how much he works defensively. And his pressures per 90 are just off the charts, Driussi. And so I think if you're going to make a Driussi case, that's the direction you go, not the Mukhtar isn't that important in Nashville.
Right, because let's be honest, the MVP is a popularity contest. And the first two things people see are the number of goals and the number of assists.
And who else scores goals for Nashville? Like, no one else scores goals on that team. Not only do they not receive the passes,
they're really low scoring.
But I think probably the question should be answered by the coaches. The coaches should need to answer that.
Yeah, but it's writers.
Because it's the writers.
Yeah. Do you get a vote, David?
I don't know.
We did not get a vote.
You should see if you get a vote because you
I haven't checked my emails. But.
Yeah, probably.
Keep a lookout for MLS.
We probably need to keep looking because this. But yeah, this was the one that Jerry showed us earlier.
I like this right here. Okay, so
this was a good graphic here.
Percentage to win MLS Cup. There's Austin FC 5%.
5% chance.
We got a 5% shot, guys.
Wow.
So we can. The bet would not be.
I know. I'm low on that LAFC team, so I think 35%.
Inter Miami.
I think it's a bit high.
Yeah,
I think it's a bit high. But
but Montreal is there. Philadelphia is there. I mean, Jesus, I think they're gonna win.
But that does give me a little more confidence of Austin playing Salt Lake. That we have a better shot of beating them.
Who's gonna be the surprise team over there? Somebody's gonna surprise everybody. People on the bottom.
Again,
like 5 of the people in the bottom, they're going to surprise somebody.
Again, I think it's Cincinnati. That's why I picked them in my bracket.
Yeah, they have a lot of offensive firepower, and I just think they have a chip on their shoulder.
They're playing with some confidence.
Yeah. And then after all the wooden spoons that they've won, I think they really want to
guys, don't this guy Inter Miami, they have Higuain. Higuain is leaving.
Because just after a successful career. Right, yeah. So, but just like Austin FC, the famous list that Wolf put out about the percentages and Weeby, our good friend Weeby, for the first part of the for a couple games, called the games against Miami and Cincinnati bonus games. Mm-hmm. That probably not only pissed Austin FC. That pissed off both of those teams.
Oh, yeah. So yes.
That's something that a lot of people aren't really talking about, that he dissed a lot of teams at the beginning of the season that are now in the playoffs. So that's why I'm high on Cincinnati.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Weeby, he's like the guy, but man, he's
got some takes.
Odd opinions.
He's got some takes. Definitely has some takes. Yeah.
All right, guys. Sunday, 2:00 Q2.
That's
Cannot wait.
Absolutely.
It is going to be a ton of fun. We're going to do this show again next week. Hopefully we're in a good mood.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll be a good result.
Hopefully a nice, happy show. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you to Club Deportes. Thank you to producer Jerry.
Verde.
Thank you to the fans. Thank you to you guys. Yeah, we'll do this again next week.
That's right.
Yeah. Are you still?